What's up, everybody? Happy Friday from the third largest city in the United States, Chicago, Illinois. It's The Drive with Mario Smith here on Backchannel TV. I'm Mario. How you doing? How's everybody doing? Hope you're having a wonderful Friday afternoon wherever you are. In fact, I hope your Friday is so good that when I pull this up, I get to see who's here. And here we are. Say hello to everybody real quick. Doug, welcome to Back Channel. It's your first time on the stream. How you doing? Hello to Dakota in Florida, Freddie in Louisiana, Nathan in Texas, Lorna, who's in Alabama, Itzhak, who's in North Carolina. He's new. Welcome, brother. Abigail in Oklahoma. Solid. Good to see you guys. Thank you for joining the show. Something was happening before we went on camera that I can't tell you about, but it was exciting and it had me out of breath right now. Something I had to do real quick. Welcome. And if you've been following what we've been doing for the past 8 episodes, it's episode 8. One of the things we like to do is let you know who you have been watching all day on Back Channel. Everything starts 6 Eastern, 6 a.m. with Haley and Allison, and then Liv Harrison, the great Liv Harrison, at 8 a.m. Eastern. Jam and Renee at 10 a.m. Sir Anthony Davis at noon Eastern, and right before us is my pal Hal, who begins at 2 Eastern. Joining me is the super producer. He's not in Portland. Jay Bliss, where are you? There you are.
How's it going, man?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm good. That's a nice setup you have there.
Yeah, it's been interesting. This house was built in 1919, and there's only one outlet that has a 3-prong outlet for my computer to plug into.
Oh, wow.
And it's such a beautiful day at the Oregon coast that I had to shut all these windows because it was literally, you just see like white. It would look like I was sitting in a cloud if I had the windows open. So
nice. I saw pictures earlier though. It's beautiful. You guys are missing it. It's beautiful where Bliss is.
Yeah, I got the ocean literally just off to my left right here.
And you know what? I have McDonald's right across the street from me. How about that? I'm glad that you're here, man, and thank you for doing this, even though I know you're like on a mini vacation. I see you ready for the weekend with your 49ers gear on. Got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about when it comes to football. We will definitely do that later on. And again, thank you, everybody, for being a passenger on the drive. Truly appreciate it. That's very clever that we call people passengers. That's what we do. Let's get on with it, shall we? Here's what's happening at this hour. We have some headlines for you. I can't see my clock. Oh, there we go. You know what? Before we do the headlines, hold on. Gliss, come back for a second.
Yeah.
Do you have the breaking news thing by you?
I do.
Okay. Don't have to use it yet. There's so much happening, and so much is happening like the last 20 minutes that it may come in handy at some point today. I just want to make sure that my name and and to everybody who's going to join us today, if you're a passenger on the drive, we welcome you to be a part of the chat. Please feel free to communicate with us. If you're watching on YouTube at backchannel.tv, we really appreciate that. And tell your friends about Backchannel. We're here and we're going to be here, so we would love for you to join us. And again, thank you so much for being a passenger on the drive. Now we can talk some headlines really quick. There's some good news in the booster shot world. If you are one of those folks who's been vaccinated, which we kind of hope you do at this point, because if you're not, what are we doing? The COVID, is that what we're calling now? The COVID booster shots are effective against severe illness from Omicron, the CDC says. And this is huge news. A booster dose of the COVID-19 vaccine significantly reduces a person's odds of hospitalization from the Omicron variant. New research released today by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The 3 new studies from the agency are among the first to look at the vaccine's impact against Omicron in the United States, which now accounts for more than 99% of new cases in the country. That's wild. The research underscores the importance of booster shots to protect against severe illness from the rapidly spreading variant. Though cases are beginning to decline in some hard-hit areas, such as in the Northeast, much of the nation's hospitals remain overwhelmed with COVID patients. Get your booster, gang. If you haven't done it yet, Get your booster. Get it, get it, get it. Former South Carolina lawyer Alex Murdaugh faces 27 new charges, accused of stealing over $8.8 million. Four new indictments were issued Friday against once prominent lawyer Alex Murdaugh, the South Carolina Attorney General's office announced. The 27 new charges outlined in the indictments include breach of trust with fraudulent intent and computer crimes. At the time of the announcement, the 53-year-old Murdaugh was in custody at the Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center in Columbia. The latest charges add to the dozens he was already facing, including breach of trust with fraudulent intent, obtaining property by false pretenses, money laundering, computer crimes, and forgery. Those charges were filed in November and December of last year, according to the South Carolina Attorney General office. And finally, in the headlines, and there's a lot of Trump news today. We may not get to all of it. I will try to get to most of it. It's either Trump news or Trump related. A Texas man has been charged with making election-related threats to Georgia government officials. This is all stemming from the Trump election that he lost, that he says he won, but he really didn't win. A Texas man was arrested Friday and indicted on charges that allege he posted threatening election-related communications to Georgia government officials, according to court records and the Justice Department. Chad Christopher Stark, 54, of Leander, Texas, is accused of using the online forum Craigslist to target multiple government officials, including Republican Governor Brian Kemp and Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, a federal law enforcement source confirms to CBS News. Quote, Georgia Patriots, it's time for us to take back our state from these lawless, treasonous traitors, close quote, Stark allegedly wrote on Craigslist on January 5th, 2021, court documents reveal. Quote, it's time to invoke our Second Amendment right. It's time to put a bullet in the treasonous Chinese official A. Then we work our way down to official B, the local and federal corrupt judges. And that's a look at the headlines at this hour. When we come back, we will have some news from around the world. Lots happening in the world. Jay Gliss is somewhere near the ocean. I'm here in Chicago, and we'll be back with the rest of the drive with Mario Smith here on Backchannel.tv. Back in a minute. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Drive. I'm Mario Smith. Thank you so much for joining us on Backchannel.tv. Jay Gliss is out by the ocean in Portland. Not in Portland. He's by the ocean on the coast of Oregon. And welcome, sir. I cannot begin to tell you how much I appreciate you doing this on your vacation.
Don't worry about it. I wouldn't miss it for anything. Come on now.
Oh, well, that's special. That's news I wasn't expecting to hear there. Thank you.
Actually, man. That is not true. I have knee surgery next month. I am going to miss a day for that.
Oh, wow. Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Just a little meniscus cleanup.
Yeah, just a meniscus.
Just a little thing.
Just a meniscus. You know, just going to jump out of an airplane. It's an airplane in the sky. Yeah. Just a meniscus. Look at you. New folks are on the stream, man. Effie has joined the stream. Doug says that he's back to Rated and Boosted. And Jessica in Ohio, this is her first time on the stream. Effie's in Utah. Look at us. Spanning the globe.
We're big on a lot of Midwest representation today.
And a lot of mid south too. We got folks. We doing okay. We're doing all right. Passengers, buckle up because now is the time of the show where it gets real interesting. It's time for us to go around the world. And first, we're going to start out with some news that I woke up to this morning. Meatloaf, the interesting to say the least, superstar rock and roller Meatloaf passed away at the age of 74. Um, I would do anything. There's a guy on the radio list today that said, "Well, it looks like he did something because because it was his song. I would do anything for you, but I won't do that." Apparently, he did it, and that's what the guy on the radio said. And it was funny. It's not funny, but it was funny to me. I thought it was funny. Meatloaf, the heavyweight rock superstar loved by millions for his "Bat Out of Hell" album and for such theatrical, dark-hearted anthems as "Paradise" by the Dashboard Light. That's one of my favorites, actually. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Another one of my favorites. Don't feel sad because 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Great song. And "I Do Anything for Love, but I Won't Do That" has died. He was 74. The singer-born Marvin Lee Ade died today, according to a family statement provided by his longtime agent, Michael Green. Our hearts are broken to announce that the incomparable Meatloaf passed away tonight, the statement said. Thursday. We know how much he meant to so many of you, and we truly appreciate all the love and support as we move through this time of grief and losing such an inspiring artist and beautiful man. From his heart to your souls, don't ever stop rocking. No cause or other details were given, but Ade had numerous health scares over the years. Meatloaf, man.
Yep.
That's some. He was a great actor, though. He actually was in a few movies that I like. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't he do an appearance on The Apprentice for a while?
I think he may have, yeah.
He's from Dallas, Texas. I didn't know that. All I remember is his concerts used to be him like pawing women and being real physical with women. It was weird stuff, man.
Yeah, that sounds good. He seemed like kind of a bizarre guy. I actually was when I was a kid, I was actually a pretty big fan of his. That the album that had "I Would Do Anything for Love." It was one of the first albums that I had on my own because I kind of grew up listening to my dad's music, and it was one of the first times that I kind of branched off and found something a little different. And yeah, I liked some of his stuff, but yeah, he was kind of a weird dude. He had some weird. I remember he had some weird kind of like storytelling skits on that album that were very bizarre and sometimes violent. Yeah, interesting.
Meatloaf. My sister, rest in peace, my sister used to go, "Why do you like someone by the name of Meatloaf?" And I could never really explain it to her why. I just thought he was interesting. It was Meatloaf. Meatloaf. And that worked for him. And I think the movies and stuff that he did were his roles that he took were very interesting because they didn't go into the whole Meatloaf thing per se, but he was a good actor. He was a very, very good actor, I thought. That's a shame. Meatloaf has made his transition, and another Hollywood folk type person, Louis Anderson, Emmy Award-winning comedian whose 4-decade career, including his unlikely Emmy-winning performance as mom to twin adult sons in the TV series Baskets, died today. He was 68. Anderson died at a hospital in Las Vegas of complications from cancer, said Glenn Schwartz, his longtime publicist. Anderson had a type of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Schwartz said previously. Baskets was such a phenomenal second act for Louis Anderson. I wish he'd gotten a third, Michael McKean said on Twitter. George Wallace, the comedian, wrote, "You'll be missed, Louis. What an awesome friend. 1 in a million." Gilbert Godfrey posted a photo of himself, Anderson, and Bob Saget, who died January 9th, with the caption, "Both good friends that will be missed." The portly, round-faced Anderson used his girth and a checkered childhood in St. Paul, Minnesota as fodder for his early stand-up routines. In a 1987 interview with the AP, Anderson compared himself to another comedian who mined his childhood for comedy. Quote, "Bill Cosby and I had similar goals," close quote, Anderson told AP. Quote, I wanted parents to be able to bring their children and children to be able to bring their parents to my concerts. I feel a family that can laugh about family problems is better off. The difference between Cosby and myself is that he sees it from an adult perspective and I tell it from a child's viewpoint. He had a lifelong battle with weight, but said in 1987 he put stop to using his size as stage material. Quote, I've always been big, close quote, he said, but I don't do fat jokes anymore. Louis Anderson, really good stand-up comedian, famous in my eyes for being in Coming to America. Not his most famous role, clearly, but a very interesting role for Louis Anderson as he played a straight man, if you will, to Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall's characters. And Arsenio insisted that Louis Anderson be in the second Coming to America movie that was on Amazon Prime Video. And he did excellent in it. He was really good. And Louis Anderson, for sure, one of my favorite comedians. This has been a wild month, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Loss with celebrities. Yep.
Yeah, if you're one of those people who is affected by loss, maybe following celebrities would not be wise because it's celebrity time, and this is like yesterday and today with Meatloaf and Louis Anderson. It's a lot. By the way, Angie's joining us from Ohio. She says that Meatloaf's death is very sad, and my man Tete is here from the beautiful state of Illinois. What's up, Scott? How you doing? I'm sorry, Mike. You know what I want? My computer to not do what it wants to do. I want it to do what I want it to do. It's jumping all over the place. Here we go. If you're flying, you better keep your mask on. And this story is about what happened on a London-bound jet, but apparently it happened today again on a jet going to Israel. People don't want to wear their mask on airplanes. For example, an American Airlines flight to London returned to Miami after a passenger refused to follow the federal requirement to wear a face mask, according to the airline. The airline called Miami police, and officers escorted a woman off the plane at Miami International Airport Wednesday evening without incident. A spokesman for the Miami-Dade Police Department said American Airlines staff dealt, quote, administratively, close quote, with the passenger. The woman was put on American's internal no-fly list, pending further investigation, an airline spokesman said. Airlines have frequently banned passengers for the duration of the pandemic if they refuse to follow mandatory mask requirements designed to prevent the spread of COVID-19. American said there were 129 passengers and 14 crew members on the plane. Pilots turned the Boeing 777 around less than an hour into the transatlantic flight, according to tracking service FlightAware. Airlines reported nearly 6,000 incidents involving unruly passengers last year and 151 in the first 2 weeks of this year, according to the Federal Aviation Administration. Most of them involved passengers who refused to wear masks. Listen to me. If I'm in London, let me get straightened up in my chair here so you hear what I'm about to say. If I'm on my way to London and I'm on a plane with you, wear a mask. Don't take it off, because if they turn the plane around in the middle of the air, I'm going to freak out. I don't care about you and your mask situation. I'm going to freak out because they just turned a big ass plane around in the air to take me back where I don't want to go because I'm trying to go to London.
That was, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, and for her, this woman, whoever she was, that's a lot of nerve. That's just a lot of nerve. You don't care about anybody else. I mean, you don't care about yourself, clearly. What about everybody else? There may have been someone that needed to be in London at a specific time for a very good reason, for all you know. How dare you?
Oh, that's exactly where I was going. Can you imagine, the looks that this woman must have got when she got off, got back into the terminal? I mean, I hope American Airlines took care of the rest of the passengers that were not at fault in this incident. But man, to to do something that's pretty selfish, to have everybody have to have consequences because you refuse to do something, it's just not that difficult.
Gliss, you being nice. Let me tell you something what American Airlines would have to do for Mario Smith. First class forever. You turned this plane around in the sky on me when I was on my way to London. No, I'm never flying in coach again. Right. No business class. No, maybe business class. But I want the whatever of it is. And I get to check as many bags as I want for free forever. Also, I'll be flying every day somewhere just to take advantage of it. How dare you? Unbelievable. That's nerve.
That's crazy, man.
There's no way in hell. Well, so you know what? That's our question for this afternoon. If you're on an airplane and an airplane turns around because someone isn't wearing their mask, what would you like the airplane to do for you? Talk to it. I'm looking at something else instead of looking at the camera. Talk to us today on Backchannel.tv. Get into the chat, join the conversation. You're a passenger on this drive, so let's all talk to each other. Just don't bother the driver. Kidding. I'm the driver. You can bother me. What would you want from the airlines? How could they compensate you if a woman or a man or anyone refused to wear a mask on a plane? You're going to London. It's not like you're flying from Miami to Orlando. You know what I mean? You're going across the water, and they turn the plane around. Well, I'd be on the headline. I'd be on Around the World. Gliss, you'd be talking about me.
I'd be pretty heated, to say the least.
It would take all I had in my life. It would be a mess. Speaking of messes and things that require people to stay calm, here's some news from the IRS. What a segue. The IRS will require taxpayers to sign up with ID.me to access their online accounts. And ID.me, well, it's in the story. Starting this summer, taxpayers wanting to access their online accounts with irs.gov will soon be required to take a selfie and verify their identity with ID.me. Existing online accounts with irs.gov, which require only an email and password to access, will no longer work as of the middle of 2022, the agency says. The IRS says the move is necessary to protect taxpayers from potential identity theft, but I almost said piracy, but privacy advocates say it's invasive and point out that the company behind ID.me has a spotty record in identifying people's identities. The move, quote, will only lead to further ruin for Americans when their data is inevitably breached, quote, Jackie Singh, Director of Technology and Operations at the Surveillance Technology Oversight Project, said on Twitter. Doesn't that sound like something in a Marvel movie? The Surveillance and Technology Oversight Project? That doesn't sound like a real place. I guess it is if Jackie Singh is there. It must be real. ID.me, a 12-year-old company that started as a way for military veterans to get discounts, has boomed during the pandemic, becoming the government's default ID verification system. The company has pulled in over $200 million in venture funding and secured contracts with 27 states as they try to root out fraud in the unemployment system. For instance, it's valued at $1.5 billion, Bloomberg reported. A spokesman for the IRS said that Americans would not need to take a selfie or make an ID.me account in order to file their tax return, calling the notion, quote, wildly inaccurate, close quote. Here it is, quote, the IRS emphasizes taxpayers can pay or file their taxes without submitting a selfie or other information to a third-party identification verification company. Tax payments can be made from a bank account, by credit card, or by other means without the use of facial recognition technology or registering for an account, the agency said in a statement. However, taxpayers will need to register with the new security system to see records of previous payments, access their wage transcripts, or to access their child tax credit update portal. Additional IRS tools will transition to the ID.me verification over the next year, the agency said. Okay, so essentially, I get to file my taxes and not and pay them and not show anybody anything. But if I need to go back to look for a record for whatever, I want to see my returns from 2021, 2019, I got to take a selfie, and I have to. I don't understand why are we doing this? Why isn't wouldn't it be? Isn't there there's an easier way, right? No, there's got to be an easier way. Looks like we might have two questions this afternoon. Um, it's unbelievable. There has to be another way to do that. In fact, I'm willing to bet there's probably another organization that they can do that with. Couldn't you just use your Google verification for the tax thing? Everybody's got a Google email for the most part. Strange. I don't get it. Not something I'm rushing to do either, but I got to do my taxes. You know your taxes yet, Gliss? Isn't it just start like today or Monday or something?
I think Monday, or I think it's usually like 21st, 22nd, somewhere around there. But I try to do them as quickly as possible. I try to get them done before February, just to be done with it, get it out of the way, get our refunds moving. Yeah.
Can you tell how excited I am about it? Really, so looking forward to it. It's one of the best things, and I usually do it at this desk that I'm sitting at too, which may be why I have this look of anguish on my face, because I know I'm going to be back at this desk doing this in a couple of days. But what are you going to do? There has to be a better way, though. Then that just simply doesn't seem to make sense to me that they would even need to do that at all. Hasn't it been okay all this time without having to do that?
Seems like it. I mean,
I don't know. I need to get on the phone with some people, find out what's going on. Let's get this done. Let's see what else we got here. A bipartisan Senate group hits the gas on modest election overhaul bill. So this is the, hey, we couldn't get you what you wanted, but we will definitely get you something. You know, before I read this, do you know the crime? One of the many crimes is that there is a voting rights bill and that it has to get renewed every 10 years instead of just making it a law. Why is that? Anybody know why that is? And why this keeps going and this keeps being a thing? Bipartisan Senate group plans to hit the gas on a modest package of election overhaul, seeing a clear path to negotiate in the coming days after Democrats' two major voting rights bills went down in defeat. The group plans to meet virtually during next week's recess to find a path forward on issues from clarifying the Electoral Count Act of 1887. That's 2022, sir, ma'am. To protecting election officials from threats and intimidation, according to senators involved. Initial conversations have included Republican Susan Collins of Maine, Mitt Romney of Utah, Roger Wicker of Mississippi, Tom Tillis of North Carolina, and Dan Sullivan of Alaska, and Democrats Joe Manchin, oh boy, of West Virginia, Kristen Sinema, oh boy, of Arizona, and Janine Shaheen of New Hampshire, all winners, all of them. Senator Angus King from Maine, the independent senator from Maine, has also engaged with the group along with more than a dozen senators. The group first met January 5th, a source familiar with the meeting said. Participants exchanged notes on issues they believed were worth tackling in a potential package. Staffers of interested members met Thursday to discuss the scope of the package and determine whether there's enough overlap in ideas, a source familiar with the meeting said. Members plan to talk again on Monday. What do they need to talk about, Bliss? What are they talking about? There's nothing to talk about. Do it. Make the voting rights, make the John Lewis Voting Rights Act a law, and stop acting like people who want to vote are some kind of danger to the democracy. That's the whole point of the damn democracy. Voting. It's the biggest thing you do. If you're not an elected official, that's your voice, being able to vote. Did you hear what Mitch McConnell said the other day, Cliff?
I did not.
Let me help you, brother. I got you. I wish I'd have put this up here for you to play. This dude says, in reference to, I want to make sure I say it right. I'm paraphrasing, of course. He basically said that African American voters vote differently than American voters. What? How is he a senator? Doesn't he know I'm an American? I was born here, player. What do you mean? What's the difference? He should have just said black people vote differently than white people do. That would have probably went right on through. Nobody would have said a word, but he legitimately said African American voters vote different than Americans. Wow. So they're getting ready to go sit together and have some chips and dip over Zoom and talk about a voting rights bill that is so watered down. And Joe Manchin's involved, so he's got his no personal opinions on this show like that. But that's just ridiculous, utterly stupid, and not well thought out. Instead of just passing the law, pass the John Lewis voting rights law.
I feel like we've talked about this like for the last week. I mean, again, it's the most patriotic thing to be able to go cast your vote. Make it easy for people to vote. I mean, I don't see the in between here. The more people that vote, that's it's better for our country. We want people to vote and have their voice heard, and elect the officials that everybody wants to have elected. It's not brain science.
Not at all. And here's the other part too. I mean, we just went through one of the most tumultuous elections in the history of the republic, where one man tried to get results overturned so that he could stay president, because there was no way in the world he was going to get reelected by any margin of significance at all, right? We already saw what happens when voting rights are threatened. Why are we doing this? I need to make a shirt that says, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? They stormed the damn Capitol over votes to try to get Donald Trump to stay president. They were going to put that Vice President Pence in a car and scare him to death to make him. Okay, I'm going to move on to something that's not going to make me so angry, Gliss, because, yeah. And here's the comment in its true light. What Mitch McConnell said at the Capitol yesterday. He said, quote, well, the concern is misplaced. Talking about the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. He said, quote, well, the concern is misplaced because if you look at the statistics, African American voters are voting in just as high a percentage as Americans, McConnell said. A recent survey, 94% of Americans thought it was easy to vote. This is not a problem. Turnout is up. That's what Mitch McConnell said. Asked by CNN whether the senator had left out a word in his comment, a spokesman for his office said McConnell meant to say other Americans, not just Americans. That's just as bad. So now there's a hashtag all over social media that says, you ready? Mitch, please. I love it. Mitch, please. I think I'm going to post on Twitter. I'm not going to post any content. It's just going to say, Mitch, please. Mitch, please. That dude, man. Unbelievable. All right. Here's something as we move on here. McDonald's. Oh, we're all fans of that. Are planning to expand the testing of its meatless McPlant burger to 600 new locations. Glitch, you do any plant-based foods at all?
No. I mean, I love vegetables. I eat a lot of vegetables, but no, I don't need things that, like if I want a burger, I'm getting a burger.
Wow.
I might put
hear
vegetables on the burger, but
I being in the Midwest, especially Chicago, this is a big meat and potatoes part of the earth. And I will be the first to admit that plant-based stuff is some things that I eat. Not all of it. I don't know what they would call it. I think I do like half and half, because some of those things are delicious to me.
I've heard that. I've just never tried it myself.
They are. Some of those things are very tasty. In fact, I had a plant-based chicken a chicken sandwich for lunch today, and I have plant-based peanut butter cookies that I didn't know they were plant-based until full disclosure, I was a little, I had a couple, And then I went to the store and I was like, man, I want some cookies. And I saw peanut butter and I just grabbed them. And when I got into my house, I looked at the box. I was like, plant-based. Oh man, I gotta take these back. And I was like, but let me try it. It was delicious. And now I get them all the time. I had no way of knowing. But I've
Well,
seen a picture. I'm sorry, go ahead.
maybe I should expand and try some of it out. I guess.
Don't be afraid. I mean, you got kids, man. You want to be around for a long time. You can't clog your arteries up with delicious steak and potatoes with chives on it and butter and pepper. Oh, it's so good, isn't it?
So good. I mean, we do we do our fair share of cooking where we substitute things out. Like portobello something instead of meat. But I mean, we do some cooking like that. I just haven't really gone out and purchased many products that are plant-based.
Well, guess what? McDonald's has announced big Valentine's Day plans. The fast food giant is bringing its McPlant burger to 600 locations in the San Francisco Bay and Dallas-Fort Worth areas starting February 14th, according to a statement from the company on Thursday. And what says love? Quite like a patty derived from peas, rice, and potatoes. The patty, developed in partnership with Beyond Meat, is served on a sesame seed bun with lettuce, tomato, onions, and American cheese, and it's topped with ketchup, mayonnaise, and mustard. Stop right there. American cheese isn't even real cheese. Number one, it's delicious, but it's not real because cows don't make yellow cheese. And mayonnaise, that isn't plant-based. Eggs, that's not vegan. That's dangerous also. McDonald's. Quote, it has the iconic taste of a McDonald's burger because it is one, close quote, McDonald's said ahead of the menu item's initial launch. The plant-based burger was first introduced last November at 8 U.S. restaurants in California, Iowa, Louisiana, and Texas before its arrival in the U.S. The McPlant burger was introduced overseas in Austria, Denmark, the Netherlands, Sweden, and the U.K. The announcement comes at a time when several other of the nation's biggest fast food chains have been expanding their offerings to include more plant-based menu items. So we got folks on the stream here who are in Texas and Louisiana. Have you guys had the McPlant? Who am I talking to? Nathan? You're in Texas. Freddie? You're in Louisiana. Who else is that? Yeah. You guys had it? Yeah. The plant-based McPlant burger. Kennedy has joined the stream, by the way. Hey, Kennedy. How you doing? Welcome. You're a passenger on the drive. Congratulations. And welcome to you. The plant-based phenomenon. Valentine's Day. You can go to San Francisco, Gliss, and get one.
I'll see about that. Okay, well, kind of what you were saying though, like the part that loses me, I think, is like if I'm trying to eat. I understand that it's maybe a diet thing, like if someone is wanting to eat plant-based things, but I'm more likely to get a burger with a lettuce wrap or something like that, as opposed to like if I'm trying to be healthier and I still have a bun and I still have all these condiments. I don't know. For me, there's just like other ways around it. Like
you would think.
I'm gonna cut out the more processed stuff, I think, first, and maybe just stick with the meat in a lettuce wrap or something like that. But
Doug says he's never had it. Doug is in Ohio. I of the plant-based products, I know we can't really do like brand names, although hell, we said McDonald's 8 times. There's a company called Gardein that makes really good plant-based food if you like it. Example, they make don't freak out, Gliss. They make fake fish. And they make really good fake fish tacos you can make yourself, and you can't tell the difference. And that's my thing. If I can't tell the difference, I am all in, brother. I will eat it. But if I even get an idea that it's like, no. Ugh. And being a vegetarian, at one point in my life, that was the plan. And I used to eat the food, and it just didn't taste good. But now they have gotten with it. It's not bad. I'm just saying, it's not for everybody, but I don't really want mayo on a plant-based anything. I like to, if I'm going, I want to go all the way.
Yeah, do it right.
Yeah, that's my plan. Doug says that is and I'm taking it that Doug is a police officer. Uh, Thank you for your service. That there's a police officer in his police department that is a vegetarian. All right. Well, there it is. So, and Doug also suggested that a person could use their shirt in their mouth or over their mouth for a mask. No, you gotta have a mask, and you gotta have one that covers up your nose
I
and all this.
I have to admit I've done it before. It only because it was early on in the pandemic where I'd like go in somewhere and I realized that I didn't have a mask, and it was like going in to pay for gas or something like that, and it
Yeah,
was the only option I had. So
I
but
think many
now
people
I
have done
now
it.
I carry them everywhere. I now I'm used to it. It doesn't bother me.
In my building, I can't get on the elevator without one. So anytime I walk out, I'm always doing like wallet, keys, the phone, mask. Let me go back home and grab it. So I keep it in my coat, a
Yeah.
clean one. Keep it in my coat so I can do my thing. Well, that's around the world. Boy, look at this. Friday is moving right along. Woohoo! The community report is coming up. Jay Bliss is by the ocean. I am by the lake. It's the drive with Mario Smith. Passengers, hold fast. We'll be back in a bit with more of the drive. See you in a second. Welcome back to the drive with Mario Smith. How you doing, everybody? It's Friday, finally. Man, this has been a week. I'm looking forward to the weekend. Although I've got like a marathon project that I have to do tomorrow. It's fine. And my sister's in town from Los Angeles, so I have to make sure I see her. So it's gonna be a busy weekend for your boy, but it's fine. I'm sure that sounds like complaining. Not. I miss my sister, so it'd be really cool to see her. Dakota and Freddie and Nathan and Lorna and Nathan again. No, just one Nathan. And Abigail and Doug and Tay Tay. Thank you all for watching the drive. Really appreciate it. If you happen to be watching us on YouTube, get into the chat. I want to know what you would like an airline, how you would want an airline to compensate you if they had to turn a plane around when it was on its way to your destination. How would that make you feel? Wouldn't you be ready to that would be it. That would be ugly. I'm interested in hearing what you have to say though. So let's put it in the chat and let's talk about it. And if you're new to the drive and you're new to backchannel.tv, when you're in the chat, make sure you put where you're from so that I can shout out your state. Do the right thing. Speaking of folks in the Southeast, you guys are about to get it again. Parts of the Southeast await a blast of snow, ice, and freezing rain. The governors of North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia declared states of emergency ahead of the winter storm expected to bring a fresh round of snow tonight. Several schools canceled classes in the coastal areas of the Carolinas and Virginia, and authorities are urging drivers to stay off of potentially icy roads amid forecasts of snow, sleet, and freezing rain. The governors of North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia declared states of emergency ahead of the latest winter storm system that swept into the region Thursday, with snow expected to follow tonight into Saturday. The winter blast could ice over a large swath of eastern North Carolina and the northeastern corner of South Carolina while dumping snow around Norfolk, Virginia, the National Weather Service said. Boy, I'm doing terrible with comments today. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin declared a state of emergency Thursday that will remain in effect through Saturday, saying his executive order allows for greater flexibility in mobilizing people and resources to respond. North Carolina Governor Ray Cooper signed a state of emergency at midweek, awaiting the second storm to hit the state in days. He said 114 National Guard troops were staging in central and eastern North Carolina to prepare to move to the affected areas. He said ice accumulations could cause extended power outages and warned temperatures could dip below freezing in coming days. Um, this is big. Please, folks, you guys, be careful, huh? My North Carolina and South Carolina people, having been a former resident of South Carolina and spent a lot of time in North Carolina, they aren't really prepared for stuff like this. It's different when you live in Chicago, or you live in Wisconsin or Minnesota, or on the upper part of the East Coast. You know your burg, your town is ready for a snowstorm, ready for an ice storm. Um, be safe. Follow all the instructions. Stay in the house. Tell people about the drive. Tell people about Backchannel.tv. Hope your electricity stays on. Make sure you make some nice food and just be cool and be safe more than anything. I really want to see you back here on Monday. Um, it would be sad if for some reason you were not. So safe, all right? That's what we're doing. We're being safe. There's some news out of Canada that's a bit disturbing. Four found dead near Canadian border in possible human smuggling operation. Officials are investigating a possible human smuggling operation after the bodies of four people, including an infant, were found near the Canadian border Wednesday, and a group of five was found walking on the U.S. side. The tragedy happened amid a blizzard with freezing temperatures. These victims, I'm sorry, quote, these victims faced not only the cold weather, but also endless fields, large snowdrifts, and complete darkness, close quote. Royal Canadian Mounted Police Assistant Commissioner Jane McLatchie said at a news conference Thursday about the deaths. The four dead were found 6 miles east of the Canadian town of Emerson, which straddles the Minnesota and North Dakota state lines, McLatchie said. Their bodies were about 40 feet from the border. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police said the four, a man, a woman, a male thought to be in his teens, and the infant, appeared to have died of exposure to the cold weather. U.S. officials said the four are believed to be Indian nationals who were separated during the night from another group of five Indian nationals found walking just south of the Canadian border in Minnesota on Wednesday. One of the members of the group of five was carrying a backpack with children's clothes in it and said it belonged to a family of four who got separated during the night, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Minnesota said. That person told police that their group had been walking for 11 hours and expected to be picked up by someone after crossing the border. Two people in the group of five had serious injuries and were hospitalized, including a woman who will likely have part of her hand amputated, according to court documents. The group was found walking in the direction of where Steve Shand, 47 of Florida, had been taken into custody earlier Wednesday morning, federal prosecutors said. Shand was arrested at the U.S. Border Patrol, pulled over the passenger van he was driving near the Canadian border. Also inside the van were two Indian nationals without authorization to be in the U.S., as well as cases of water and snacks, officials said. Shand is charged with one count related to transporting undocumented people. He appeared in a federal court in Minnesota on Thursday and was ordered held pending a detention hearing set for Monday, according to court records. Records do not show that any plea was entered. That is tragic. Human trafficking is what it sounds like to me. That is absolutely tragic. We go to Tonga. A nuclear test monitor calls Tonga volcano blast the biggest thing that we've ever seen. Gliss, can you please put this up, because this is what I was talking about the other day, where you can see this on the radar.
Yeah, give me just a minute here, and I'll get up on screen.
Sure, sure, sure. Let me know when, so because then I'll be muted. I won't be able to. Everybody won't be able to hear my voice, which is really why you come here, or not. But it again. This was huge. The explosive volcanic eruption in Tonga on Saturday appears to dwarf the largest nuclear detonations ever conducted, according to a global group that monitors for atomic testing. The shockwave from the blast was so powerful that it was detected as far away as Antarctica, says Ronan Lebras, a geophysicist with the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization in Vienna, Austria, which oversees an international network of remote monitoring stations. That is powerfully bad. Look at that. Unbelievable. Every single station picked it up, he says. It's the biggest thing that we've ever seen. As large as the explosion was, it was not nuclear in any way, Libras adds. Radioactive fallout, the telltale sign of a true nuclear explosion, was not detected at any station. The Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization was set up in 1996 to monitor for nuclear weapons tests anywhere on Earth. Although the Test Ban Treaty has yet to enter into force, the organization has set up an extensive network designed to watch for signs of a nuclear blast. In the past, the network has picked up North Korea's underground nuclear tests and radioactive fallout from the Fukushima nuclear accident. This time, seismic, hydroacoustic, and infrasound stations all picked up the violent explosive eruption of the volcano, which took place on January 15th. Infrasound, which listens for sound waves lower than what humans can hear, is particularly useful at detecting the rumble of far-off explosions. According to Lebras, atmospheric measurements in Austria, roughly 10,000 miles from the eruption site, detected a shockwave that was 2 hectopascals in strength. By comparison, the largest nuclear weapon ever tested, the Soviet Union's Tsar Bomba, registered a shockwave of just 0.5 to 0.7 hectopascals in New Zealand, which sits at a comparable distance from Russia's nuclear test site in Novaya Zemlya. Similar readings were picked up in other parts of Europe. That is just crazy, man. Can you imagine? Holy smoke.
Pretty intense.
That is really intense. And then all of this, at the top of this, is ash that completely covered that island. Wow. That is something. That is something. I don't think that there are any words other than that is something. You know? Thank goodness nothing like that happens here in Illinois. Although we do sit on a fault line in Illinois. So earthquakes have been a thing in the past. And I am nervous about that because I'm in a high rise, you know? I'm not nervous about it, but it is something that comes to mind every now and then. So yeah, wherever you're at, be safe.
We keep hearing that the big one's coming out here. There's that giant fault line just a couple miles down that way off out in the Pacific Ocean, and when that thing hits, apparently it's going to be pretty devastating for the West Coast. So
you don't have anything to worry about. The Rock will take care of
it. That's when I come out here. The first thing I do actually is I always check, because they usually have a tsunami warning evacuation route. That's one of the first things I do before I come to the Oregon coast, just to make sure I know where I need to go if something goes crazy. So
that's well thought out on your part, because I would be so entranced by the ocean, I would not care about a tsunami warning. Although just had one last week.
Yeah,
that was a little frightening for folks in on the West Coast. I can't imagine. I just can't imagine it. That is absolutely crazy. Real quick, hey, Kobe's back.
Kobe, what's up, Kobe?
I'm a little worried about him or her. Glad you're back, Kobe. I'll do the emoji wave. There you go. Keep it nice and still. Oh, you got to do it like this because there's little lines around the emoji. There you go. And Romeo has joined the stream along with Annie. Hey, guys. Thank you so much. If you're checking us out on your Amazon supported device, or if you're watching us on YouTube, much appreciated. As we continue here in Illinois, there are some updates about Omicron here in Chicago, for example. Illinois has begun focusing more on COVID-19 hospitalization data as cases decline. Illinois governor, and then I can tell you something, Gliss, that you're not going to believe. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is cautiously optimistic the Omicron wave of the pandemic has peaked. Both hospitalizations and the number of people requiring intensive care have fallen daily over the last week. Here's Governor Pritzker. In the first 2 weeks of 2022, 14,000 new people have gotten their first vaccine dose every single day, close quote, Pritzker said at a news conference. That's around 100,000 newly vaccinated people, about the population of Peoria, every week. Pritzker said, pardon me, he thinks some people who were adamantly against the vaccine are starting to change their minds. The state is focusing more on hospitalization data and less on case numbers, in part due to the increasing prevalence of at-home tests. Such tests are part of the state's arsenal in dealing with the next variant. Dr. Ngozi Ezike, director of the Illinois Department of Public Health, also talked about genomic sequencing that will help identify the next variant, plus an infrastructure that makes vaccines and boosters free and easily available. She said the state has systems in place to prepare for the next variant, but ultimately it's up to individuals. So I'll do her part. Get vaccinated. Get the booster if you've been vaccinated. Everything is showing that the booster is very effective against Omicron. I don't know what you need. You need a gift. You need a gift card. Would you like for us to come to your house? Whatever it is, we'll do it. Get it together, please. I want to go outside and be able to go outside and go, I can go outside tomorrow. Instead of, man, I'm going to be in my house for 8 weeks. I want to go outside. I'm just looking around to see if anybody else is here. I just want to go outside. Is that wrong? And I was out last night briefly. People are playing this mask thing like, whatever, I don't wear no mask. Wear your mask if you're not going to do anything else. Just a lack of care, Gliss. People don't care. How hard is it?
I mean, everybody has the right to make their own choices. But again, let's always. The thing that I think we need to remember is,
me. Remember me. Think about me.
Think about Mario too. Don't just think about yourself. Think about Mario.
Think about Gliss. Think about Gliss and his kids.
That's right. Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, it's not. You have the right to do what you want, but sometimes it's just about doing the right thing. So let's do the right thing.
And on that note, because I can't read anything else after that. That was perfect. Thank you. See, look at been by the ocean for a few hours. Now you're all like
zen and got a clear head. I can see some liquor that way, just waiting for me. It's calling to me, just ready to go.
I got some action. I got some action happening behind me too. I don't know how fast this second hour is gonna go, but man,
Friday.
Yeah, I do have to. Again, I have a but I have a pretty big thing I got to do in the morning, so I can't.
So you got to start early.
Yes, I got to get going pretty early. It's gonna be a short celebration, but it don't take me long. Dakota, Freddie, Nathan, Lorna, Abigail, Doug, my man Kobe, or my lady Kobe, Annie, Romeo, Kennedy, Angels on the stream today. All passengers on the drive. Truly appreciate it. We're going to come back and talk some entertainment news as we watch out for the cameras because they're on their way. We'll be back with more. It's The Drive with Mario Smith. The second hour begins shortly. You're watching Backchannel.tv and listening to us on your Amazon-supported devices. Thank you. Welcome back to the second hour of the drive with Mario Smith. How you doing, everybody? I'm Mario Smith. Thank you for being a passenger on the drive today. We really appreciate it. We got people listening and watching us all over the United States, and that is also appreciated. Kobe just let me know that he is a man. I'm a man as well. Right on, Kobe. Kobe's a man, Gliss. We could stop our.
Now we know. We
No more-
didn't know, and then we missed him because we didn't see him last time, and now we
That's
know.
right. And we talked about you, Kobe, because we missed you yesterday.
We want to get to know everybody, so.
That's right. We're all friends now. You're a passenger on the drive, brother. So welcome, man. I'm sorry, Kobe. I'm glad you cleared it up. Roll Tide. Dakota, Freddie, Nathan, Lorna, Abigail, Doug, Kobe, Romeo, Kennedy, everybody, all of you. Thank you so much for being on the drive with us today as we go through the headlines. At the top of the hour, the CDC has declared that booster shots are very effective against Omicron. Alex Murdaugh, South Carolina lawyer, has been charged with 27 new charges. And Christopher Stark has been charged in election-related threats. Texan Christopher Stark, make sure everybody knows where he's from, has been charged with election-related threats regarding Georgia government officials. It is now time for entertainment news. Have no fear. The camera's here. Anybody listen to the Joe Rogan podcast? I will be terribly honest with you. I've never listened to it. I don't know if it's good.
I've never listened, but he's incredibly popular. I do know that. I see people reference his podcast all the time. I know people who listen to it. It's very, very popular.
Well, there's an open letter urging Spotify to crack down on COVID-19 misinformation that I guess is spurned by Joe Rogan. It's gained the signatures of more than 1,000 doctors, scientists, and health professionals, spurred by growing concerns over anti-vaccine rhetoric on the audio app's hit podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience. I do know Joe Rogan is funny, and I know he did a bunch of stuff with Dave Chappelle on Chappelle's show, and I've seen his stand-up. He's not funny, but this is kind of dangerous. The medical and scientific experts slammed Rogan's track record of airing false claims about the coronavirus pandemic, vaccines, and unproven treatments, calling it, quote, a sociological issue of devastating proportions, close quote. Spotify, they say, has enabled him. While audio apps so far have escaped the scrutiny that has befallen social media platforms such as Facebook and Twitter, the pressure on Spotify illustrates how podcasts have emerged as an influential source of misinformation. In the December episode of his podcast, Rogan interviewed Dr. Robert Malone, a scientist who worked on early research into the mRNA technology behind top COVID-19 vaccines, but who is now critical of the mRNA vaccines. Malone made baseless and disproven claims, including falsely stating that getting vaccinated puts people who already have had COVID-19 at higher risk. The episode immediately raised alarm bells for Katrine Wallace, an epidemiologist. I did it, Gliss, without, and I actually read the word. An epidemiologist at the University of Illinois Chicago School of Public Health, who signed the letter. She is part of a community of experts who debunk medical misinformation on social media, and she says she received hundreds of messages from followers about Rogan's Malone interview. Quote, their friends and family were sending it to them as evidence that the vaccines are dangerous and that they shouldn't get it, close quote, she said. Quote, it provides a false sense of balance, like there's two sides to the scientific evidence when really there is not. The overwhelming evidence is that the vaccines are safe and that they're effective. What do you think, folks? Joe Rogan, is that dangerous? I'm not interested in your vaccine situation so much, but if you knew someone was spreading misinformation, would you find that to be dangerous? If I said that sky that looks blue to you really isn't blue and fire is going to come out of it at 12 noon, there's nothing to prove that that's going to happen. That's dangerous. That puts you in a place where you don't need to be mentally, right? So he's telling people the vaccines aren't real. Herschel Walker is suggesting that people drink urine. Sorry, I just blacked out for a moment. You got to help me. Why spread the misinformation? Spread the real information. I don't know anyone that's a scientist, right? But I know a few doctors. And the one thing that doctors are saying, and my friends that are doctors that are saying, is the people who are dying in the hospitals or who are hospitalized, they are saying, I wish I would have taken the vaccine. Some of them on their deathbed, I wish I would have listened and taken the vaccine. I don't know, man. I'm sorry. You don't have to sell me on it. Plus, I'm a little bit older. I can't be out here just balling vaccineless. I gotta be, you know, on my thing. Adele has postponed her Las Vegas open. Oh, and this was so sad. She was crying. Gliss, your girl was having a moment. She was not enjoying having to tell people. Yeah, she was in tears. And she told everybody, I can't make this $700,000. Because that's what I heard in my head. It was like, uh-oh, I hope she didn't spend that money already. Adele has postponed a 24-date Las Vegas residency hours before it was to start, citing delivery delays and coronavirus illness in her crew. The chart-topping British singer says she was, quote, gutted, close quote, and promised to reschedule the shows. In a video message posted on social media, a tearful Adele said, quote, I'm so sorry, but my show ain't ready, close quote. Quote, we've tried absolutely everything that we can to pull it together in time and for it to be good enough for you, but we've been absolutely destroyed by delivery delays and COVID, quote, close quote, she said, adding that, quote, half my team are down with the virus, close quote. Not down with it like they like it, just down as in down. Just want to clarify. Not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good. Not down like word. It's like down like, oh, that's hard. so everyone knows.
We don't want to paint her in that light.
No, I like Adele. Yo, hey, hold on. I don't know if she has a group of angry human beings like the Beehive. I don't want no trouble. I like Adele. Let the record show. It's just, to me, because jokes are part of my life, that's funny that she cried, because I don't know how much of the crying was over that coronavirus, over that loss of that money, because that's a lot of money. $700,000 a show? Am I right? Isn't that right?
That's right.
Man, look, I'd be crying too. Are you kidding me? I make $2 a show doing this. $2. I would cry. Oh, man. Adele had been due to perform 24 shows at Caesar's Palace starting Friday, following the release of her fourth album, 30, which is a good album, by the way. In a tweet, Caesar's Palace said it understood fans' disappointment, but added, quote, creating a show of this magnitude is incredibly complex. We fully support Adele and are confident the show she unveils at the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace will be extraordinary. So she's still going to do the show. It's just been postponed, and she's still going to get all that money, buddy. Everybody relax. But, man, that's got to be painful. And speaking of painful, I don't know. I've been engaged once. I didn't think to do this. And Gliss, I don't think you thought to do this either. But this is an interesting situation here. Machine Gun Kelly. You're familiar with Machine Gun Kelly. Most people are. Well, Machine Gun did something very interesting. First of all, according to Machine Gun Kelly, love is pain. And that is what the rapper and actor told Vogue in a joint interview with his new fiancée, actress Megan Fox. Kelly was explaining the, quote, thoroughbred Colombian emerald, close quote, and diamond engagement ring he had designed for Fox, with the emerald, quote, just carved into the teardrop straight out of the mine, close quote. Quote, the concept is that the ring can come apart to make two rings. When it's tougher, it's held in place by a magnet. When it's together, it's held in place by a magnet, close quote, Kelly said. So you see how it snaps together? And then it forms an obscure heart. And you see this right here? The bands are actually thorns. So if she tries to take it off, it hurts. All right, look. Stop right there. Hold on, Machine Gun. Machine Gun. Mario Smith here. Why, son? Why are you trying to make your woman's fingers hurt? Why? She ain't going nowhere. You Machine Gun Kelly. You sold all of that up already. Clearly. Because Machine Gun, I think she's like 30 years older than you. Something crazy. She's not that old. But older than you. You won. Why do you put a ring on a woman's finger to hurt her? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
That's not kind of weird. That is extremely weird.
To me, I'm just gonna say it kind of comes off as a little insecure to me. I don't know. There's just something that doesn't sit right with me about that. I don't know.
Look, if I get married, or okay, all right, Bliss, I got to tell a story. See, we're learning about each other. I'm gonna tell you something about me. So, my one attempt at marriage, when I went to get the ring, the engagement ring, I went with my best friend so he could because he was getting married, and I was like, "Yo, go with me." And he's like, "Yeah, man, I got you." And we go downtown on Jewelers Row, and I pick out the ring, and the ring is beautiful. And the jeweler took the ring out and showed it to me, and I fainted. No lie, passed out in the jeweler.
Wow.
My best friend gets me back, wakes me up. He's in tears, laughing at me. The jeweler's laughing. Everybody that works at the jeweler is laughing. I'm not laughing. I'm like, what happened? And he goes, you fell out when you saw the ring. Needless to say, we did not get married.
Because you passed out?
No, because other things. But that ring, I think I got scared. It's a long story. I'm really condensing it for our lovely audience. But yeah, once that ring thing happened, everything else just went and didn't work. Like the same day.
I'm not gonna try this again.
Yeah, nah. I'm good. I'm good. I'm super good. I mean, I'm an older man now. I wouldn't mind being married though. Or see, but then somebody said if you get married after 50, that's more like a person's your caretaker as opposed to being your or caregiver, as opposed to being like your husband or your wife. So I'll be fine. I got together. I've stuck around all this time, buddy, not being married. But sometimes I think about it. I'll be honest. I wouldn't give her. See, had I known that this ring existed then, though, I might have been like, I wonder would she accept this ring? How do you? If you're, could you do that with your wife, Bliss? When you guys were getting engaged, like, hey, look, here's a ring. If you try to take it off, it's gonna chop your finger off. I love you. That's not love.
Yeah, no. Shouldn't need that much of an explanation to put a ring on.
No. I mean, you shouldn't need to threaten someone's with amputation. If you're trying to marry him, I want you whole. I don't want to kill you. I want you to be with me.
The whole thing just is kind of dark. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, let me explain something to you about this ring. Okay? Love is pain. I'm like, okay.
I just want you to know before you put this ring on, if you try to take it off for any reason at all, wash the dishes, anything, it's going to cut your finger off. I love you. That is frightening. Come on, Machine. You already got a frightening name, Machine Gun. Get it together. Hey, by the way, man, Kobe says he's looking for a girlfriend.
All right. Wait. Kobe's single in Alabama. There we go.
Kobe's in Alabama. So if any of you, and he's watching on YouTube, and I see another Alabama representative, but I'm not going to call her out because she might be married already. But if you are interested in Kobe, we can like get a courtroom sketch of Kobe. I think we should. I think
we do a matchmaker segment.
Yeah, but not with actual pictures, because I don't want to invade anybody's privacy, but with courtroom sketches. Like we find a courtroom sketch artist that can draw everybody that watches the show, and boom, we can have, as long as they don't make him look like Tom Brady when they made Tom Brady look like Lurch from the Monsters. God, boy, I'm gonna get in trouble. But Kobe's looking for a girlfriend. My man, Graham is joining us too. Hey, Graham, could you tell us where you're joining us from? I know you're on YouTube. Hit us up. Where are you from? So we can properly acknowledge your state, where you're visiting us from. You're a passenger on the drive, by the way. Thank you. But yeah, we're going to do courtroom sketches, everybody. So if you know a courtroom sketch artist in your city that's like on television, do they still do that? Because you can see now you don't need a courtroom sketch artist. I'm going to work on it. But yeah, I don't think the Megan Fox and Gary is very light and happy. That sounds terrible. Super Bowl halftime show has been increasingly horrible over the years. This year might not be so bad, depending on your perspective about rap music. They released a trailer for the 2022 Super Bowl halftime show, and this is a big one. Um, Super Bowl 56? Yikes. Ooh. I still remember Super Bowl 20, my friend Bears. Stop, Bears. I didn't know they had others after that. It's 56 Super Bowls. The teaser features some of the biggest names in music: Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, Dr. Dre, and Kendrick Lamar. In the video, we see each artist right before they get, quote, the call from Dr. Dre. Yeah, Dr. Dre call you up. You got to kind of answer that call. Because, it's Dr. Dre. To amass and assemble. It's almost like a cast of superheroes among the quintet. In the video, we hear a sample of each artist's hit songs, from Eminem's Rap God to Mary J. Blige's Family Affair. The big game itself is slated for Sunday, February 13th in Inglewood, California at SoFi Arena, or SoFi Stadium, or SoFi Club, or wherever they call it. It'll be broadcast on NBC. The famed soft drink company shared the news on social media, taking to Twitter to write to its 3 million followers, quote, the most epic, star-studded Pepsi Super Bowl 56 halftime show trailer is out. Watch these 5 music titans get ready for the Pepsi halftime show on February 13th. Wow. And I guess there was some talk that this super group was actually going to put out some music at some point together. That would be interesting. I personally would like to see Dr. Dre go right ahead and make that Chronic 2 that he's been threatening people with for 30 years. That would be fun. Snoop Dogg is like the most popular television personality outside of maybe Shaquille O'Neal. Eminem hasn't done too much in years. Mary J. Blige is still very much an icon. Kendrick Lamar has new music coming out soon. This could be a good halftime show.
I'm excited.
The game's going to stink no matter who plays in it. That game's going to be terrible.
I'm stoked about the halftime show. I like that they're doing something a little different, and all these people are right in my wheelhouse. I was in high school in the early 2000s, so I'm a fan of all of them. Obviously, Kendrick came later, but huge fan of him as well. He's super talented, so I'm pretty excited to see how they put this together with this many, big time artists all on one stage.
This is huge. Super Bowl halftime show lost me when Usher came out dressed up like Batman. I was like, hold on. Word, Usher, Raymond, sir, that's what we doing? And then the other one that lost me was the Black Eyed Peas. Word, you all are from outer space?
I thought you were from... that one might be one of the worst ever.
I thought they were from Oakland. But...
And then the part that gets me about that one is they had I think it was Guns N' Roses came out or something like that with them. God. And Fergie tried to sing this song like Axl Rose, and it was incredibly awkward and cringeworthy to listen to.
It goes down as one of the worst. I walked out of the bar I was at. I was like, I can't watch this. Let me know when the game starts back. I used to smoke cigarettes, and that's why I went out. I got to take a break. And I decided to smoke. I could turn around and see the TV. I'm like, oh, they're still on. I'm not going back in there. And again, I thought they were from Oakland. They come out the sky. They're in a spaceship. That mess the Weeknd did last time was.
Yeah.
Look, Michael Jackson, Prince, U2. That was another real good one. Did Bruce Springsteen do one?
Bruce Springsteen did it, like probably about in the last 10 years or so. He was good.
That was a good one.
I agree. U2 was really good.
That was after 9/11.
Yeah, that one and Prince are probably the two most memorable. The Michael Jackson one, I was a kid, but I remember everything about that one because I was a huge Michael Jackson. That was right around the time the Dangerous album came out, and I was a huge fan at that time. So
he jumped up out that scoreboard and then came up through the stage and just, man, look, that was some cool stuff. Yeah, that was really cool. So yeah, there you go, man. That's Have No Fear, the cameras here, celebrity news and all that. Once again, don't buy your woman an engagement ring. That'll kill her. That's a bad way to start off any relationship. Don't do that. And Kobe's looking for a girlfriend. That is Justin Timberlake, Janet Jackson. There were a few other ones that were interesting. But yeah, don't. I'm a up with people guy myself when we're talking about the Super Bowl halftime. We come back, we'll play ball with you. It's The Drive with Mario Smith on Backchannel.tv. And if you're listening to us, you're checking us out on your Amazon supported devices, and we appreciate you. We'll be back in a bit with more of The Drive. Happy Friday! Hey everybody, welcome back. What you don't see is the show. Only Gliss can see me clowning and looking for things that I can't find around my desk. But it's one day we'll just leave the camera on so everybody can see me chair dancing to our great music. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to The Drive with Mario Smith. Thank you to everybody that's checking us out. If you're listening or watching, we appreciate it. If you're on one of your Amazon supported devices listening to us, you can tell your device to put you in the chat here at Backchannel.tv. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can join in the live chat. It's right there when you log in. And subscribe to Backchannel.tv. Subscribe, and push the notifications bell so you can know when we're coming on. Okay? Fair? Cool. Connie's in Tennessee. Thank you. Still don't know where Graham is from, but hey, Graham. Angus has joined the stream as well. And we appreciate all of you. Really do. Thank you so much. Me and Gliss really do. You have no idea how much we appreciate it. Lots of sports. Let's get to it. Naomi Osaka was kicked out. That's bad. Was knocked out of the Australian Open. Amanda Anisimova, a 20-year-old American ranked 60th in the world, upset the defending champion in 3 sets today or yesterday in Australia because they're 8 days ahead of us. Defending champion Naomi Osaka didn't make it to a much anticipated 4th round contest against top-ranked Ash Barty at the Australian Open. Amanda Anisimova, a 20-year-old American ranked 60th in the world, ensured that the so-called final before the final won't happen when she beat the 4-time major champion 4-6, 6-3, 7-6 on Friday. Quote, I knew I had to be playing sharp if I wanted to give myself a chance, said Anisimova, who took the Olympic champion Belinda Bencic in the second round and then accounted for the 2021 Australian Open champion. After losing the first set, Anisimova knew she needed to get more aggressive or she would be out of the tournament. It worked. Anisimova saved 2 match points in the third set, serving to stay in the match, and it ended with an ace. She hit 46 winners to Osaka's 21. After winning the title last year, her second at Melbourne Park in 3 years, Osaka withdrew from the French Open in the second round and skipped Wimbledon as she took a break for her mental health. After a third round loss at the U.S. Open, she took an extended layoff to reset and arrived at the year's first major with a seeding of number 13. This is not great news, but it's not the worst news for Naomi Osaka as the Grand Slam season has begun, and there's a pretty solid chance that she will be back. Don't know about her ranking, and I'm pretty sure the young lady that was ranked 60th isn't going to be ranked 60th after this tournament is over. Congratulations to her, and Continue good luck to Naomi Osaka. An arbitrator has ruled that UConn improperly fired Huskies men's basketball coach Kevin Ollie. You have to forgive me. I didn't even know that Kevin Ollie had gotten fired.
I didn't either, actually, until I read this.
I'm like, he got what? So an independent arbitrator has ruled that UConn improperly fired former men's basketball coach Kevin Ollie and must pay him more than $11 million, Ollie's lawyer said Thursday. Attorney Jacques Parentier called Thursday's ruling from arbitrator Mark Irvings a, quote, total vindication, close quote, for Ollie, who was fired in the spring of 2018. What? How did I miss that? Wow. After the school reported numerous NCAA violations in this program. Now I'm concerned that I've missed some years. What year is this? 2022, correct?
That's correct.
Man. Irving's ruled that Ollie is due $11,157,032.95. Now, how did they come up with 95 cents, Jay Gliss?
I don't know, but
He's
$11 million in within 10
Man, you got 10
I'm sure,
days.
like, to hear that news, like in the next
Right.
10 days, check your checking account. You got $11 million on the way.
I'm on TikTok for 10 straight days, counting down, doing a different dance every day. For 11 mil, though? And I get a picture from the NBA, too, because I played more than 5 years? Yeah. I need that money. I'm Kevin Ollie. I'm dancing on TikTok. That's a lot of money.
Sure is.
Man, $11 million. We talk about money all the time here, but I gotta be honest with you. I love everybody, but I'm out. $11 million bucks. Thanks, radio. Thanks, television. You've been great. Gotta go. Speaking of money, Dallas Cowboy quarterback and enthusiast of people throwing garbage at referees, Dak Prescott was fined $25,000 for comments related to game officials. And I'm sure everybody's heard the comments, but you know, it doesn't hurt to remind you that Dallas won't be in the playoffs. It's just so funny every year. It's just like the Chicago Bears. Every year they have it in their head they're going somewhere. Nowhere. Dallas Cowboy quarterback. Oh, and this morning Jerry Jones is like, I got to think about all these coaches. I might fire somebody. Did you hear that?
Well, yeah, I think he's definitely probably going to fire somebody.
Man, somebody's getting fired. Hey, if you work for the concession stands at that monolith where they play, you better be on your toes, Jack, because Jerry might walk in. Hey, you know what? I didn't like that ice cream. You're fired. Post-game question to Prescott on Sunday initially indicated the fans were throwing things at his teammates in anger as they walked off the field following the wildcard game, which he called, quote, sad, close quote. However, when he was told the objects were directed at the officials, he said, quote, credit to them then. Credit to them. Close quote. He was given a chance to walk the comments back at the end of the news conference and didn't. And here's, of course, he had to apologize on Twitter. Quote, I deeply regret the comments I made regarding the officials after the game on Sunday. I was caught up in the emotion of a disappointing loss and my words were uncalled for and unfair. Quote, I hold the NFL officials in the highest regard and have always respected their professionalism and the difficulty of their jobs. The safety of everyone who attends a game or participates on the field of a sporting event is a serious matter. That was a mistake on my behalf, and I'm sorry. Close quote. Also, what he omitted, I didn't write any of this. I am so glad they threw that garbage on those referees. There was nothing that made me happier after getting beat because of some stupid last-second thing that the referee wouldn't let me touch that ball. He got fined 20. He makes that money up in the sleep number bed. He's good. He probably got the money hiding under sleep number mattress.
I kind of wonder if that apology wasn't, you know, something that reduced the fine a little bit. Maybe going into the apology, he knew like it was, you know, the option of, do you want to get fined this much, or would you like to apologize and we'll give you a little bit of a break?
I wouldn't be surprised. But I mean, if I'm him, I'm on every other commercial is me talking about how important sleep is to being focused.
Yeah.
Fine me. So, not that he shouldn't have apologized if he actually wrote that, which I don't think he did.
No.
But stand your ground. You were super happy that happened. Stick to that. Don't be afraid to be like, you know what? I'm glad that happened. I really wish that I could have seen them throw garbage on those people who have lives and families and stuff. And just let them do that. Find me, NFL. Or I can get you guys a sleep number bed for charity. We can just pass them out because I'm good with the sleep number bed people. Come on, man. Come on, Dak. But yeah, Jerry Jones was on the radio this morning like, I'm going to fire everybody. I really don't care. I'm really upset. I'm going to fire everybody. Unbelievable. Before we talk more football, the Major League Baseball Players Association are going to make a counter offer on Monday to the owners. An in-person labor proposal. Ooh. Should the players offer do little to advance the negotiations that thus far haven't yielded any substantive progress, the scheduled start to spring training in mid-February will grow that much unlikelier. And the longer discussions on a new collective bargaining agreement last, the more they jeopardize opening day on March 31st. I'm going to tell you something. Everybody that loves baseball, like I love baseball, the owners don't care if they don't play baseball till May because they don't make money in April and March. They just don't. Because if you're here in Chicago, I guarantee you, here's how the weather in Chicago goes. It hasn't really snowed in Chicago at all. It's going to snow every day next month, like every day. And it'll snow through March, and it'll snow every now and then in April. It'll be cold until May. The owners don't care if they lose that money. I'm not implying that the season is going to go or start in May, but March and April, they're good. Middle of April, end of April, which when it should start anyway. You don't need a game March 31st. Why? Nobody can see it unless you're in California or Florida because it's cold everywhere. Or now I guess you could in Texas because they got indoor stuff. But to me, that's ridiculous. Gliss, your thoughts on Major League Baseball and this sad attempt to fix it?
I mean, I just want to see them get something done because I'm a huge baseball fan, and it's unfortunate that when we have to be reminded that when it comes down to it, sports is big business, and I get it, but you want to be able to enjoy the game. So I want to see them get something done, and I'm always more than likely going to side with the players' union, no matter what sport it is, just because. Always. Yeah, I mean, people can say that athletes make too much money or that they this, that, and the other thing, but they're only getting a small fraction of what the owners are raking in, and what Major League Baseball gets. So I have no problem with the players, standing their ground on what they think is right, and hopefully they can get something done for all of us that love baseball and want to see the season start as usual.
I really want the White Sox to get back started. Yesterday on my way to go do the radio show, I go past Guarantee Rate Field almost every time I get ready to go to the studio. And I just looked up at it, and I was still angry about how that last game went. And I want to see them get back in there, and I want to see them do better. And this labor dispute that they didn't start is kind of ridiculous. But there are things that they definitely need to fight for. I mean, I'm a union dude, so I'm pro players for sure. And I just hope they get this worked out. But I do believe that the owners could care less about starting the season on time. They would rather be sure they can make money as opposed to having a half-empty stadium in April. That's just me, though. I don't see that.
You're probably right on that.
Yeah, it would be in their best interest. Hey, guys, do you know who Caitlin Clark is? Let me tell you. Caitlin Clark plays for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and she's averaging 26.2 points per game. But in the past two games, this woman has snapped. On Thursday, the sophomore became the first player in Division I basketball history, men's or women's, to record back-to-back triple-doubles while scoring 30 or more points in both games. Clark also became the first player in Big Ten women's hoops history to have back-to-back triple-doubles, and she did it on a night when Iowa got its largest margin of victory ever, 56 points against a Big Ten foe. Clark and the number 25 Hawkeyes carved up Minnesota 105 to 49. Ooh, I could not. My child would have to transfer from Minnesota. She couldn't play for them. Be like, baby, I love you. I want your career to go well, but unless you're transferring to play with that Caitlin Clark girl, you can't play for Minnesota anymore. your college career there is over. Man, they got walked. Caitlin Clark is a monster. She has a really, really good game. I've seen her play before. Didn't catch her name. I like basketball, right? So I watch women's and men's basketball. She it is really ridiculous. She's a great basketball player, and I am very, very hopeful that she gets on the women's national team to play in the Summer Olympics whenever they have it. Um, and we haven't done enough Olympic coverage either, Gliss. That's on me. You know, the Olympics this year, I don't mean to jump all around, but I got to say this. The Olympics and the Super Bowl will coincide with each other.
That's right.
NBC isn't quite the conundrum. Well, they're going to show the Olympics on Peacock for the most part, but you get, I think they're calling it Super Gold Weekend. Ooh.
I like it. NBC's coverage, so.
I wish they would just, never mind. They don't, no one cares about what I think. It'd be nice if they just put it on Amazon Prime Video. That would be fun. Clark's point total Thursday ties for the. You think anybody's getting that joke besides me and you? Nope. Never mind. Clark's point total. Look, I like how you just opted out. You're like, nah, you're on that island by yourself, Gilligan. I'm not talking to you. Clark's point total Thursday ties for the fourth most in Division I women's history for a triple-double. LSU's Cornelia Gayden had 43 points in her 1995 triple-double. Long Beach State's Cindy Brown had 37 in 1987, as did Alabama's Daisha Simmons in 2013. Roll Tide. Writer Stella Johnson tied Clark with 35 points in 2018. In Sunday's 93-83 victory over Nebraska, Clark had 31 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. The 6-footer from West Des Moines, Iowa, now has 5 career. I was just thinking in my head, is it Des Moines? Yeah, because you don't say Des Moines. It's Des Moines. Iowa now has 5 career triple-doubles, with 4 of them coming this season. Clark is the 7th player in Division I women's history to have at least 4 triple-doubles in a season. Wow. She is killing it, Gliss. That woman is nice. Start paying attention to her. She's really, really good. Like, not kidding. She's nice. She's very, very nice. Oh, man. All right. You know what? Football time. Let's do it, Gliss. It's the big weekend. We get to make picks, bold predictions, all that stuff. This has been a very interesting playoff so far. Last week was the terrible part. This is when we get to the good part. We got 4 games this weekend. The first 2 games are going to be interesting in that the Bengals and Titans now have a new addition to the game. The King is back. King Henry is going to be playing. He was activated today, Derrick Henry, by the Titans after having full contact practice. He's good to go. I like the Titans in this game. I mean, I love the Bengals, and I love Joe Burrow a lot. I wish Joe Burrow played here because they don't know what to do with Justin Fields yet. But I love watching Joe Burrow play, watching him develop as a quarterback. He's getting into his wheelhouse now. I say he's going to be the next Joe Montana. That's just me. But it's an interesting matchup on Saturday. And you can see that at 4:30 Central on CBS. Who you like?
I like the Titans in this one. I mean, okay. At home, you got they have some weapons on offense, and to add Derrick Henry back into that mix, which has kind of been that missing piece. Man, if he's healthy, that guy is pretty unstoppable. You look at some of his numbers he's put up the last couple years, some of the best running back seasons in the history of the NFL. So, I mean, I liked the Titans even without him, maybe just slightly.
Yeah.
Playing at home, but you add him back into the mix. I'm going with the Titans here for sure.
I know for a fact that Mike Vrabel, the coach of the Titans, is 8-0 against the spread. Spread is 3.5. I like the Titans, man. I like their defensive line better. I'm not worried about Tannehill because he's not going to blow a game for him. And if Henry is any good, he's better than every running back in the league except for maybe Deebo Samuel right now, or any running back left in the tournament. They're the one seed for a reason, and that reason just got reactivated into the squad today. I like the Titans. I like the Titans. I'm not a gambling person, but I like the Titans, and I like them to cover that 3.5 quite easily. The second game on Saturday is there he is. He's got it on, baby. It's the 49ers against the Packers in Lambeau Field. It starts at 8:15 Central. I'm sorry, 8:15 Eastern on Fox, and it is going to be a thing. There's going to be cold, of course. It's going to be really cold. Garoppolo is not worried about cold weather. Went to a school here in Illinois, from Illinois, as a matter of fact. Played in New England, but he's only taken 3 snaps in games when the temperature is below 40, and all 3 of those snaps were victory formation snaps. This is going to be a close game. I think, man, the spread is 6. Green Bay is favored by -6. This is one of those games. Anything can happen. I don't know. You know what? I'll get the San Francisco scouting report from you. How banged up are the 49ers move ahead of this game?
So I think the 2 biggest things are Nick Bosa.
Mm-hmm. Joey Bosa could. They both look alike.
Bring him over here too. But from all indications yesterday, it sounded like he was pretty on track within the concussion protocol. So that's a big deal, because when he's out there, I mean, they got after the quarterback even with when he left the game last week in Dallas. But he's a difference maker in their pass rush. And also Fred Warner, I believe he's said he's pretty much good to go. He has an ankle injury. The biggest question mark, I think, is quarterback, because Jimmy Garoppolo played with a sprained thumb last week and apparently sprained his shoulder during the Dallas game. It sounds like he's on track to start, which is good, because you don't want to throw the young guy into that situation on the road in a cold game against Aaron Rodgers, this number 5 Trey Lance. But
that's right. There it is, number 5.
Yeah, right. I got number 3 overall pick right here. There you go. But so hopefully he's good to go. I think that could be the one area. If for some reason things start to go wrong, then it could get really interesting if you have to see the rookie come in because Jimmy is not right. I think that could be a big thing within the game. That's it sounds like he's good to go, but I think that's definitely something to think about. But Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers on the road, it's a tough one.
The over is 14-6 in playoff games when Aaron Rodgers is starting, including 6-0 since 2016 and 4-0 since Matt LaFleur took the helm at Green Bay. Everybody and their mother is picking the Packers to win. I am a Chicago Bears fan, and nothing outside of the Bears beating the Packers makes me happier than when anybody beats the Packers. I'd love for San Francisco to do this for me so that I don't have to hear any more about that dog-faced character with his mopey eyeballs and his little me. I heard the Dr. King speech. I'm going to quote that. I never heard of Dr. King until I got sick and I had COVID and my toe hurts. I hate him. With all that in mind, this game is going to be, I wouldn't touch this game in a million years. I think San Francisco can go in there and do it. The what do they call themselves? The Green Bay Packers. See, I hate them so much. The Green Bay Packers special teams is abysmal. If they can find a way to put the clamps on Devontae Adams, I don't see anybody else really doing anything. The problem is everybody's coming back for Green Bay. They haven't had many games together, and they won't have many practices together. The other thing that bothers me is San Francisco is playing after 6 days. They don't get a lot of chance to rest anyway, and they didn't get a chance to rest this game, as this is a Saturday game as opposed to a Sunday game. It's a toss-up, man. It can go either way. I'm hoping the 49ers win. That would be great. I would not be surprised if the Packers won, and I'm telling you, the NFL wants it to be Chiefs Packers in the worst way. Rams at Buccaneers on Sunday. Who you like?
I don't know. This one's probably the toughest for me. I kind of like the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
I just there's I mean I almost said the Patriots. The Bucks, the Bucks looked great in the first round, but I mean, Philadelphia just kind of snuck into the playoffs. I don't know how legit of a playoff team they were. Um, not to upset any Eagles fans or anything like that, but um, you're going against a much more talented team, and I do think that Tampa Bay is one of those teams that had a lot of question marks kind of coming down the stretch at the end of the season. And so I kind of like the Rams in this one just because I think the Rams have it's the same reason I liked them last week. They, you look at them on paper, they have a lot of talent, and if they go in there with a good game plan, I think they can beat the Bucks on the road.
Since 2010, Los Angeles is 8-1 against the spread when facing Tampa Bay, including 2-1 under Coach Sean McVay, and the past 5 meetings went over the total. I like the Rams, man, in a walk. I think they beat Tampa Bay bad. It's time for Tom Brady to consider being on the Manning cast more because it's over Sunday. And then the second game, Bills Chiefs. That's the game of the year right there for me. I like the Bills. And I should like the Chiefs because I swear I think it's going to be Chiefs Packers Super Bowl. The reason why I say I like the Bills is they are going for it on Sunday. They are not. They have really been upset every game this year. They've been angrier and angrier, and their anger goes all the way to Kansas City. It's going to be a close game. The spread is like 2. I like the Bills in a major upset.
I think
my heart is with Kansas City. My English teacher's husband used to play for the Chiefs in the first Super Bowl and all that, but I like the Bills.
I think I'm actually going to go with the Bills too. The Chiefs have been the team to beat the last several years, but I kind of like where you were going with what you said about Buffalo. They were kind of knocking on the door last year, and there's always these moments in sports where a team that has that much talent and they're right there, they got to overcome somebody, and the Chiefs have been kind of the it team the last couple years. So I could see them getting over the hump and putting a new team to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
I agree, man. But again, I know the NFL wants it to be Packers Chiefs. Oh, so bad. That would just for Super Gold weekend. Come on, man. Aaron Rodgers and that stupid mopey look on his face against young Pat Mahomes trying to get that discount from the State Farm dude. Man, it'd be outstanding.
I hope that's not the game that we get.
I would rather have Bills Rams. I think Bills Rams is a much better game, but I don't make the decisions, and not to imply that anyone is pulling the strings in the NFL. I'd never do that because I don't want to get in trouble. I'm just saying. Let's take a real short break. We come back with front of mind and some stats and facts to take you through the weekend. And we appreciate you putting up with me and Gliss being sports fans. It's The Drive with Mario Smith. We'll be back in a bit. You're watching Backchannel.tv. Hey everybody, welcome back. Here's a story to put you in a good mood for the weekend. It's from Wellington, New Zealand. The tranquil resort in Tonga sat behind a lagoon and a reef break that was perfect for snorkelers and surfers alike. Guests who had never met before would sit together to eat delicious communal meals cooked by owner Moana Paea and her staff, or relax in rustic cabins tucked in the trees. Then came the massive volcanic eruption and tsunami, which killed at least 3 people and left dozens more homeless. The waves swallowed up the hot Atufu Beach Resort. Oh man. Quote, is completely bare land. Coupled with the black ash from the volcano, it looks like a bomb site, close quote, said Paya's brother Alan Burling after viewing images online. But now, dozens of former guests from New Zealand, Australia, and the US and elsewhere are raising money to help Paya and her husband Ola start again. It's just one of the ways the world is rallying to help the people of the remote Pacific island rebuild. Governments from New Zealand, Australia, Japan, Britain, China, and elsewhere have been sending fresh water and other much needed supplies on military ships and transport planes. Peter Taufaua, who became a sensation as Tonga's bare chested Olympic Games flag bearer, has started an online fundraising page to rebuild schools and hospitals that is already more than halfway to its goal of raising $1 million Australian, 720,000 US. Tonga never had the luxury resorts of other Pacific destinations like Fiji or Tahiti, and tourists came expecting a more down-to-earth experience. At the Tafu Beach Resort, the pandemic had already halted international tourism, and so the owners had pivoted to their renowned cooking. New Zealand's acting high commissioner in Tonga, Peter Lund, was picking up some catering there on Saturday when the volcano erupted. Speaking by satellite phone from Tonga on Friday, he described what happened. It's all a bit of a daze now, but I certainly heard this incredible thunderclap, Lund said. He said the resort staff told him it was too dangerous to stay, and so he returned to his car. The waves were coming in. I got back onto the main road, and gradually the skies turned black, and the volcanic ash started raining down. Lund's 30-minute drive back to the High Commission in the capital turned into 90 minutes because the compound was built on higher ground. Tongans rushed to safety there, and that night, Lund had about 80 people stay. Back at the beach resort, Moana Paea, her family, and the others there had no time to save any of their belongings and ended up climbing a tree to survive, said Burling, who lives in New Zealand. Like everyone else, she was very upset and very emotional, he said, after managing to speak to his sister briefly by phone. Moana, she doesn't really like the fuss and probably wouldn't have wanted us to raise the money, Burling said, but she would have literally lost everything, and they have staff to support. This is a lovely story. Again, the world is not horrible. The people in the world kind of suck, but the world itself is not horrible. And stories like that are really cool. And support Tonga and support those efforts if you can. If you see something in your town, make sure you get in there and do it. Folks born on this day. In 1940, Jack Nicklaus turned 82 today. Billy Ocean, in the Love Zone. He turned 72 today. Jam Master Jay would have been 57 years old today. Hakeem Olajuwon turns 59. And Brandon Crawford, who plays for the San Francisco Giants, go Brandon, no, not that go Brandon. I mean Brandon Crawford, turns 35 today. Jeez, you guys. On this day in history, former White House intern Monica Lewinsky says on tape she had an affair with President Clinton. And in 2008, the Eyak language in Alaska becomes extinct as its last native speaker dies. On this date in music history in 1978, the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack begins a 24-week run at #1 on the U.S. album charts. And in 1989, You Got It by Roy Orbison enters the U.S. Top 40 chart. Real quick, the NFL Super Wildcard game between longtime rivals San Francisco 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys was watched by more than 41 million people, the highest audience for a wildcard game in 7 years, according to CBS. And a study found grocery shopping can reduce stress in adults. Is that a fact? Do you feel calmer after shopping at the grocery store?
I kind of like grocery shopping. I usually have my headphones on, my hoodie on, my mask on, so I'm like in my own zone. You know, I'm good with grocery shopping.
Plus, one of your kids only eats air, so it's all good. You don't have to do a whole lot of shopping.
That's right.
You can split it up. Hey, man, thanks for everything this week, Bliss. I know you're on vacation. Again, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you agreeing to do a show when you're trying to like relax and stuff, but thank you, brother. No, looking forward to Monday, episode 9. We celebrate on episode 10. I think we all get watches for our 10th episode. I hope. Everybody that's watching us, wherever you are around the world, thank you so much for being a part of the drive this week. We will be back on Monday, and as the sun sets in Chicago, Illinois, I wish you and yours a wonderful, wonderful weekend. See you on Monday on the drive. Passengers, peace.